All
What
right,
is what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Jen and Ryan's Sports Corner.
there you go.
I, we just want to talk about the safety position and how we feel like Jalen Mills is not as good as Malcolm Jenkins, but we feel like he's a pretty solid replacement. You know, um, he shined at times against like players like Julio Jones. Um, but the question there was times where he got burnt, when he got left in the dust. He had a lot of pass interferences, I felt at time from time to time. But I feel like he can maybe be even better than we think at the safety position because of those shining moments that he had. So, is it possible how good I felt as though he's always been a hard hitter, a very good hard hitter, but how is he going to do with this safety position? So, what are your thoughts on it, Stan?
Uh, there's actually a lot of similarities here between Malcolm Jenkins and Jalen Mills because Malcolm Jenkins was a cornerback. I'm pretty sure he played a little bit of safety at Ohio State, but I specifically remember him being a first-round graded cornerback when he got drafted by the Saints. And he came in and played cornerback for about, I, I want to say like 2 years, maybe 1 or 2 years, and then they switched him over to safety. And
Mm-hmm.
he was solid at cornerback, but he wasn't able to really play on the outside. And
Yeah,
they moved him to safety, and that's where he really took off and flourished because I don't think that was his natural spot at
yeah,
first. He has more speed. He had more speed and than Jalen Mills, but he still in New Orleans lacked the speed to stick with a lot of the top guys like the Randy Mosses and the TOs and so on and so forth.
mm-hmm.
So I see a similarity with Jalen Mills there because he doesn't have the deep speed, but he's one of the best tackling cornerbacks in the NFL.
Agreed.
And he has had some experience, like you said, at LSU playing safety. And at least to my recollection, he played it solidly, similarly to the same way that Eric Rowe did.
Mm-hmm.
He played safety and cornerback at Utah, and he was pretty good at safety. And you see, he just got a new contract with the Dolphins. Like,
Right,
see where he came from Chip Kelly and being started on the outside where he probably wasn't most well suited for. And then
right.
um, we traded him, and then um, Belichick moved him to safety. And I know he gave up the big play in the Super Bowl, but still, he had a pretty solid year that year for the Patriots, and he had another good year last year, and he turned it into a big contract. So I know that they have to be thinking along the same lines with Jalen Mills. I think
Yeah.
people are underestimating the ball skills that he has because he has pretty good ball skills, but he just
Oh, yeah.
doesn't have the outside speed to play against some of these number one and number two receivers.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And my big question is, where is Sidney Jones as far as how is he going to take a big step this year? Like he's saying, oh, you haven't. I don't know if you saw the comments on Facebook that he said, oh, you haven't seen nothing yet. How is he going to be able to respond to that during these NFL games? Are you going to be able to step up, or are you going to have the same hamstring injuries as you have been having? You know what I mean? So, are you going to be able to stay on the field? Is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
the big question.
yeah.
So,
That's the
I mean,
biggest question with him, like you said. I mean, it's your best ability is your dependability. That's
exactly.
the way I see it. But I really liked what he did in that 5 game stretch last year at the end of the year, the 3 to 4 games at the end of the season, and then the one playoff game against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
He played very well. He
Oh, yeah.
had a lot of big plays. He had like 2 breakups in back-to-back games in like week 16 and 17 that were really critical plays in those games to help
Mm-hmm.
clinch those wins. And he looked like the guy that we were expecting him to grow into when we drafted him and redshirted
Yeah.
for that year. So I don't know what they're going to do on the outside. I actually heard rumors of teams being interested in Rasul Douglas.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he just for whatever reason, Jim Schwartz just does not like him. So I mean, he's probably going to be gone. He's probably going to be on the trade block next week. As we see these teams start wheeling and dealing, don't be surprised if we see Rasul Douglas's name up there
Yeah.
in trade talks. Um,
Yeah.
I heard that, and the Philly Sports Network. This is a really good channel. He's the one that I'm referring to. Where I heard this from,
Mm-hmm.
and um, he heard rumblings that there were a couple of teams in the NFC that showed some interest in the Eagles, and that the Eagles possibly turned down a trade offer from the 49ers
Mm-hmm.
for Rasul Douglas, because they've been having issues at cornerback. Sherman was injured off and on, and then Witherspoon, they had to bench him at a certain point last year on a Super Bowl run. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't think Avonte Maddox is going to be the answer on the outside. I think they either like him in the slot or at strong safety, or
Yeah.
one of the safety spots.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's really going to come down to Sidney Jones, and outside of that, I'm not really sure what their plan is. My guess would be Sidney Jones, because I think that Rasul Douglas is still in the doghouse for whatever reason.
No, he is. I don't understand it either because I felt as though Rizal Douglas, he's pretty. I think he can be solid. Like I think it'd be. I don't think he's a number one. I think it'd be a solid number two.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
he can't. I don't think he's good enough to keep up with the big time receivers, but he can definitely keep up with number twos. I feels like he'd be in a good spot to do that. And I mean, I'll be honest. I don't understand why they never tested him as safety.
I know, man. I don't know if he played safety in college, but what I do know is maybe he might look better in a different system that's going to use more press coverage, because
Yeah.
he doesn't have the deep speed. But if he can get his hands on you, he can play you pretty well.
Oh yeah.
He had some success against Julio last year when he was able to press him at the line.
Yeah, I think he's solid.
Yeah,
Like I said, I don't understand why Jim Schwartz doesn't like him or whatever. I've always liked Rezel. He has pretty good ball hawking skills. I feel like he has, that little bit of ball hawk in him still.
yeah,
But I don't know, man. I just hope our secondary comes to play next year because we got Darius Slay. So
exactly.
hopefully
Which
coach him
leads
up.
me to my next point, in that I think that they're hoping that Jalen Mills will turn into their free safety of the future for the next 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to fill the shoes of Malcolm Jenkins or Ryan Dawkins. He just has to be the best version of Jalen Mills he can be, and they're hoping that, and we're hoping that that's a top 7 safety.
I think he can.
I think that that's his ceiling, and hopefully he can make it to, like, maybe if he's the 7th best safety in the league or something like that. That would be a really good spot for the Eagles. But at strong safety, you have Rodney McLeod, who I believe that this year that's his starting spot there, hands down. But going into next year, we don't know that. Like, he's on a 2-year deal, so which could really be a 1-year deal, depending on if they don't see the wide receivers on the board when they're drafting at 21, or if they get scooped up real early. Then they might look to go for one of these linebackers, which I don't think they'll do linebacker, but I think they I wouldn't be surprised to see them go after that center or one of these safeties. And one of the two safeties that really comes to mind is Grant Delpit. He's somebody that I read an article about, like, back in, like, January, just like looking into the draft prospects, and got
Mm-hmm.
guy out of LSU, like 6'2", like 215, 220, just straight up.
What's his name?
Grant Delpit,
Delpit. Okay.
Delpit. I'll go ahead to the share screen so you can kind of see what I've looked up so far.
Oh, okay.
So, let's see. Here we go. Grant Delpit right here. So, LSU 3-year starter. Yeah, he was nicked up, I think, his sophomore year a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
It says his pros and cons. This is a pretty long one, but it says he's an animal playing forward, confidently drives on the football and click in close situations. He has a quick trigger when attacking downhill against the run, especially when lined up in the box. Incredibly versatile with upside in man and zone coverage. Has strong pattern mirroring skills from the slot, and his length really shows up when closing on the ball against quick game. Definitely checks the board with his ball skills. He's sound, securing takeaways and disrupting at the catch point, always punching, racking at the football to try and separate it from the ball carrier. Showcases good range to cover ground and close down distances.
So what are some of the cons that you see on him?
His cons are, while 2019 was better, it's still difficult to forget about all the whiffs in 2018 that carried over a bit, although much improved, can be a touch loose with zone coverage spacing and needs to be more consistent, trusting his landmarks.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, but that being said, I feel as though his ceiling's so damn high.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be a pretty good safety. I mean, that can all be taught, that's coaching,
And I was looking at I'm pretty sure I haven't seen all his highlights, and a lot of these highlight videos, they don't show the bad plays. There are some guys that some channels that do show the bad plays of some of these players. I can't remember those guys offhand, but from the highlights that I've seen, he's a really good wrap-up tackler, and he has a good nose for the ball. And when he wants to lay the wood, he can really light you up.
Yeah, it also says his worst trait is tackling.
Yeah, I don't know.
That can be coached up.
Yeah. Take a look at some of these highlights, though. You can kind of get a sense for what he looks like. And for those watching the video right now, I know it's probably going to be a little bit choppy, but we're going to look at these highlights. Usually you guys can't see them, and we're going to break them down, like maybe like a good 40 seconds worth. So you see how he drove on the ball there?
Oh, I like his instincts already.
So there's another hit. Grant Delpit very gently put Story
I think this was the 2018 season, not last season.
Easier preparation for Michael Johnson next week.
It looks like some good food.
Oh, this was a hell of a play right here.
Thrown up and intercepted. Did Delpit hang on? He did. What an interception. Maybe the last guy you want to throw.
He's got good ball. He's definitely got good ball skills.
Yeah.
Safety here.
So let's watch about 2 or 3 more plays.
Ooh. He came in like a missile, man.
Yeah.
Well, one of the most
really good timing on the blitz.
Defensive coordinators in college football is the defensive coordinator for LSU. To Sternberger inside the 5, but he fumbled.
Hell of a hit.
Wow.
Hell of a hit, man.
I don't know.
That was crazy. Damn.
Ooh.
Are they sure his worst traits tackling? Like, bro.
So, you know what I mean? That's bang right there. That's a good screenshot right there. And yeah, like those are some of the things that he brings. And I'm sure that he's a hit or miss guy when he's tackling. Maybe he has the propensity, like Michael Kendricks did coming out of college, to go for the kill shot a little too much.
Yeah.
But that being said, you can teach a guy to be less trigger happy with taking chances and really just focus on wrapping up tackling. And when he does go to wrap up tackle, he's pretty good at it. What I really like with him is the ball skills. He has a really good wingspan. Good at tracking the ball in the air, and really good off the blitz.
He's like a missile, man.
Yeah. Now, and just thinking about that, I wouldn't mind seeing if Jalen Mills plays at a high level, or even Avonte Maddox, if he plays at a high level. I wouldn't mind seeing Avonte Maddox or Jalen Mills lined up next to Grant Delpit for the next 4 or 5 years to come.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be a good way to transition your safety spots,
right,
for the future. And you get a guy that, And Rodney McLeod, uh, he brings you that, but I want a guy that's has the wingspan,
Oh yeah,
which Rodney McLeod doesn't. Rodney McLeod can lay you out, but he doesn't have the wingspan per se to really affect a lot of these passing lanes, a lot of these windows. And this guy
agreed.
does. You're talking about a guy that's 6'2", 6'3", long wingspan. He just cover a lot of ground. He ran like a 4.38 at the combine too, so he flies.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, and the 40 times they do give you insight on speed. Don't get me wrong, but like the track speed matches up with the speed on the field, and that's what's most important to me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like a guy like John Ross, like straight line, runs a 4.24, but he has no wiggle. He has no lateral agility.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
compare him to a guy like Henry Ruggs or Tyreek Hill. They're running sub 4.3s, but they got sideline to sideline lateral agility. Like they can change direction real quick.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's what I kind of like about Delpit. He's not like stiff for a tall guy.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some things I liked, and some of his deficiencies I think can definitely be coached up, as all players can and
Oh
will
yeah.
come in.
Yeah. You look at their weaknesses and you're like, are these like weaknesses that can be coached up? Absolutely. These are all small little things. That's why you just take that chance when they have that kind of wingspan, those kind of ball hawking skills that like he can track the ball so well, and
Right.
then I feel like honestly, just by looking at his film, it looks like he can maybe even track the ball better than McLeod. Like his ball tracking skills are like retarded good. It looks like from that little bit of film. Like
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I,
Exactly.
I definitely see something out of that kid. I hope he pans out well if he comes to us, especially.
Yeah, I know, and he could realistically be sitting right there at 21 if we don't happen to get one of the wide receivers that we want to get, because and this is the first time I've read this article. I just pulled this up about a half an hour ago,
Oh,
and
okay.
this plays into exactly what I was talking about, how
Mm-hmm.
he would fit. We know Rodney McLeod is going to start, but the strong safety spot is still a question mark. My guess
Mm-hmm.
right now would be that Jalen Mills is the guy, but Will Parks has a chance too at free
Mm-hmm.
safety, I guess. But neither guy is the clear long-term solution, so that's where Delpit comes in. The strange offseason might hold him back, but eventually the plan would be to have him become the versatile Jenkins-type replacement. So
Right.
that's kind of the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and one, is any other thoughts you had about Grant Delpit?
Not really. Just how is he? He said he ran a 4.38. How was his vertical?
Let's see.
Yeah, I like what I see though so far from him.
Yeah.
But yeah, if one of those receivers aren't sitting there, like I wouldn't be mad at this pick, something like this, or a middle linebacker, or an edge rusher.
Yeah, I don't know, but it said, I guess last year during his college offseason, he had like a 37-inch vert.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that he would be a good option here at 21.
Absolutely.
Then the second person that I want to talk about, and I don't know if I would necessarily pick him at 21, but I think it would be a good option to consider if the Eagles were thinking about trading back in the first round or even into the second.
Mm-hmm.
The Antoine Winfield Jr. I don't know if you remember his dad played for the Bills back in the day.
Antoine. Hold on, let me look this up. Antoine. What's it? Antoine what?
Winfield Jr.
Antoine Winfield Jr. Okay. Strength and weaknesses.
And me personally, I would see him more as a second-round pick, but that would be a pick if they got him. And I'm going to show you some film on him real quick. But let's look up some of his measurables.
Yeah, he played in 10 games as a freshman. He recorded 52 tackles, 2 fumbles recovered, 3 passes defended, and 1 interception. He was healthy in 2019 and finished with 83 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 fumbles forced, and an impressive 7 interceptions.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, when you see his tape, you're going to see exactly why he's so damn good, man.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like another interesting prospect. And what's he safety?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know if you remember his dad, but his dad played for the Buffalo Bills back in I think he was drafted in 98 or 99.
Okay.
He went to the Bills, and I remember in Madden, they used to have the draft your own team. You could have the mock football tournaments in Madden.
Mm-hmm.
And Antoine Winfield was always one of the top cornerbacks that I would think about drafting after I drafted Brian Dawkins, because I always loved safety and cornerback to start off my team.
Right.
I'm telling you, Antoine Winfield, he was a 98 every year on that game for a good 5-6 years.
That's crazy.
He really good. He was really good. And you just never really heard much about him because he played up in Siberia in Buffalo.
Right.
He was consistent. Him, Chris McAllister, who else? Him, Chris McAllister, Troy Vincent, those three, back from 2000, 2000 to 2002, they were always the guys to draft if you were going to draft cornerback high.
Right.
But yeah, his kid, man, he's a ball hawk as well. And I was looking at some highlights again around the same time as I was looking up highlights on Delpit, and this dude, he is a ball hawk. He's around the ball. I'm telling you. Let's get to it.
He can get down the field. He had a 58-yard rush against Buffalo earlier this year, throwing deep, single coverage, jump ball.
Oh,
and it is intercepted by Antoine Winfield. His sixth.
Look at him in coverage, turn the hips, man. That's a big receiver.
Yeah.
Dude's 6'5" and he's 5'10".
Plays bigger than what he is.
He tracks. Oh, and he returns kicks too. That's why I really like him as well.
Yeah, definitely a plus. What's his 40?
Very unique. You don't see that safety returning kicks a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to have. Okay. You a little bit. That dude a ball hawk, man.
Yo, that play right there, you kidding me, dog?
That is nasty. How did he do that?
He's not even looking, facing the ball.
That is ridiculous.
End zone for the win.
Nope.
Nope.
The Golden Gophers are golden tonight in 2 overtimes.
Wow.
Skyrocket moving forward. 37.
He has a nose for the ball, man.
He does, man.
He just got a nose for the ball, dog.
And Winfield will go the distance.
He's a second rounder for sure, man. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a push for first. Who knows?
On the pick six.
Yeah, the only reason he's going to drop to the second round is because he's smaller safety.
Yeah, he's 5'10". That's why. Oh my! Oof!
Let's go, man!
Oh, look at that hit!
I see 2 more plays. Great wrap-up tackle. Great in run. That's a great play in the run game.
Ooh. Okay. I like what I'm seeing from him, man.
Yeah. So,
Solid.
I mean, me personally, like my dream scenario would be if they were able to get Henry Ruggs and we can go from there. But if they don't get one CeeDee Lambs or Ruggs and they're sitting at 21, go ahead and trade back if you can. Pick up that center and trade back and pick up another second or third round pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then in the second round, trade up and get Winfield.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good call right there because we like I said before, how's Jalen Mills gonna do? I mean, it'd be good to have something like that in your back pocket right there.
Yeah, like if like I said, if it comes down to that scenario, trade back in the first round, pick up an extra second round pick, and then go after Antoine Winfield Jr. and one of the linebackers that we mentioned before, because I feel like the linebackers, they're going to slide back. People don't pick linebackers high. One of those guys is going to – Isaiah Simmons, we all know he's going top 10.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Murray might go in the 20s. But the other guy that you mentioned, I can't remember who it was. He might be sitting there in the top of the second round. So if you're able to trade back and pick up another second-round pick, you can have a dearth of talent in this first and second round.
Yeah. Stacked, man.
Not a dearth, an abundance of talent. Excuse me.
Yeah, there's a lot in this draft. Like just the receiver talent, the linebacker talent. Some of these safeties that you just showed me. Like, dude, like if we don't hit in this draft, I don't know how we will. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You got to hit on one of these picks because you got abundance of speed of Henry Ruggs. Who you can possibly get. You got a guy like Grant Delpit, who I wouldn't mind having that. The other dude you just showed me a safety. What's his name? Antoine Winfield. He's pretty solid too. So I feel as though we're in a pretty solid position to get one of these players. So, and I think we definitely need to pick up a linebacker though.
They have to.
They absolutely, because we don't have much. So,
a name that hasn't been mentioned, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles went ahead and made this move. And see, it might be a little tricky now because you can't bring guys in for physicals. I don't think he was injured last year, but how about bringing back Michael Kendricks from the Seahawks?
I wouldn't mind that at all.
He's a free agent.
Like, what exactly happened? Like, why didn't they like him? Was he just not happy in Philly?
No, they weren't going to pay him.
They weren't going to pay him.
They weren't going to pay him a big deal, and he got his money in Seattle, and now he's a free agent again.
Yeah.
So he had a good year last year. He had like 89 tackles, like 1 or 2 picks, a couple sacks. He could do everything that Nigel Bradham did for you last year. Why not bring Michael Kendricks back?
Yeah, I mean, that's better than what we have.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't have to be hard-pressed to have to draft a linebacker in the first 3 rounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I wouldn't mind it at all. I mean, truthfully, you got to do something. You can't go into the season with Nathan Gary and whoever else they have, because who do they really have? You know what I mean? So
you can play linebacker, right?
Yep. On the field, you can do it too. I've seen you.
just like you seen in Mad, right?
Yep, I've seen that too often, bro.
Yeah, they need to address linebacker for sure.
And edge rusher too is another question.
Yeah, so that's what I want to get into for the next episode is some of the options at edge rusher.
Edge rusher, okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. So we talked wide receiver, we talked safety today, so we can talk edge rusher in the next one.
Next one. Okay. Yeah.
Switching topics real briefly. I know you don't follow boxing extremely closely, but so
Mm-hmm.
there's a report that came out that Deontay Wilder does not consider Tyson Fury the true heavyweight champion, and he can't wait for the rematch.
What, bro? Wow. Wow. He really said that though.
I'm gonna look
Yeah.
this up now. I just put you back on the share
I,
screen.
I don't know, man. Tyson Fury is pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean you lost, bro. Like you have to win with humility, and you lose with humility, man.
He boxed his head off, man.
He boxed his head off from round 1 of the first fight.
Yeah.
24 rounds of a boxing lesson. He only won 2 of them. Or maybe I give Wilder 3, 4 if I'm really being generous, and it's not even Christmas yet.
That's wild. When was this rematch supposed to take place before all this crazy crap happened?
I think it was supposed to take place in June or July.
June or July. Yeah, I think I heard the same thing.
Yeah, so here it's saying in a report from UK Sports, Express and Star.com, Deontay Wilder had bicep surgery after the loss to Tyson Fury.
Mm.
So, okay. Deontay Wilder revealed that he has undergone surgery to prepare his left bicep after suffering an injury during that title fight earlier this year. Recovery is going well. I'm in therapy. I ended up injuring my arm during the last fight, somewhere up in there, but everything's going great with it.
Mm.
Now he initially blamed his lethargic performance on the 40-pound weight of his ring walk costume, and 2 months on, he hinted that there were other factors at play. I'm
That
pretty
ass
sure.
excuse.
Look, it's part of it. I'm not denying that he was injured in the fight, but
Right. Mm-hmm.
that's not Tyson Fury's fault that you got injured.
Yeah.
It's not like he grabbed your arm and slung you around and that's how you tore your bicep. No, like you injured it on a certain punch or wherever point in the fight you injured it. It's unfortunate it happened, but that's nothing to do with Tyson Fury. He still did his job.
Yeah, he still owned him.
Yeah. I mean, he owned you the first fight when you didn't have a torn bicep. So I don't think it was the bicep that cost you the fight.
Yeah.
Same thing with Timothy Bradley when he fought Pacquiao. I don't know if it was the first fight or the second fight, but I think he had suffered a calf injury in that fight, and he mentioned it after, but he didn't make any excuses. He's just like, I fought the best that I could.
Yeah.
It's not
So
maybe Pacquiao's fault that you pulled or tore your calf muscle. That's just something you had to fight through. It's part of the sport, man.
Yeah, exactly. Injuries happen.
Because truth be told, if Tyson Fury tore his bicep and that played a role in Tyson Fury losing the fight, you think that Deontay Wilder would give that belt back to Tyson Fury?
Absolutely not.
Like, oh, my bad, bro. Like, I didn't even know you was hurt like that. Yo, go ahead and hold this to the rematch. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm not saying this in any way to try to clown Deontay Wilder or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's using this as an excuse. I just
Right.
want to more so kind of talk about it, at least for some of the people that may come out and say, "Oh, see, it was something I told." Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. If the first fight wasn't such a one-sided affair outside of the 2 knockdowns, then maybe that could hold a little more credence. But
Right.
we didn't see anything out of Deontay Wilder that said that he was able to beat an out-of-shape Tyson Fury, let alone compete against an in-shape this time around Tyson Fury. So
Yeah.
just found it fun fact of the day.
Fun fact. Yeah. Yeah. Like I just feel like the whole costume thing, I just thought that was a little ridiculous. Him saying like that it weighed down his legs or whatever. Like it was that was part of it. I felt like maybe the bicep injury, yeah, but like you said, it's part of sport. You know, you get hurt, you know, things like that happen.
If it took
So
place before the fight and you were saying that hampered your ability, like you knew that you were a one-arm fighter going in, then I think that's a little bit different.
right.
I mean, in my opinion, Tyson Fury is still the better fighter, but yes, that would be if you injured it before the fight, that would play a major factor going into the fight.
Oh yeah,
But he's saying that he injured it sometime during the fight. That's just dumb luck. There's nothing either fighter can do about it. It's out of your hands.
exactly.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's just I feel like the next time they fight, yeah, it's going to be the same result. I don't see it playing out any different. Just by the way that fight played out, I don't see it being any different at all. I really don't, because he just didn't show me, like, he's a good, don't get me wrong, Deontay Wilder is a good fighter, but he doesn't match up to Tyson Wilder, like, Tyson Fury, I'm sorry. To, like, his level just seemed like he's beyond that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so, I don't know. We'll see what happens next time around, but I feel like he's going to win again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with that said, I think that almost brings us up to time. So let's go ahead and wrap up this episode.
All right.
It was fun talking about the Eagles.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Another good episode.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it again and talk about these defensive ends.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like a plan. And seems like the curve's starting to flatten a little bit too. Did you hear about going down?
Yeah, I have, but I do want to see. They have to be diligent and stringent on the restrictions on people, or else that curve is going to go back up because people are going to go back out like it's all fine and dandy, and it's you allow that second wave of infections to hit. So
Got to be careful.
Yeah,
just gotta. Right, I think it shouldn't be like, you know, me. I'm gonna wait probably like even after everything opens, probably gonna wait like another 2 weeks to be around people and like stuff like that. Probably get a little more time, but
right.
But yeah, I'm just glad to see everyone's starting to say, you know, stay more like safe. People are taking it more seriously, it seems like. So
Definitely. All right. With that said, any last words or comments?
Everybody be safe, stay in it, and go out if you only need to.
All right. My man. I'm Jen, signing off.
Ryan.
Catch y'all later.